I'd like to say thank you all for coming today. And first I would also like to find out if there are any people here with raising your hands who are not familiar with Bashar or not familiar with channeling. Before we begin with the channeling, then I will just do very, very briefly a little bit of an explanation as to what this channeling is so that people can be a little more familiar with it. The channeling state is natural to everyone. Everyone can do channeling. Channeling is just allowing yourself to be in a centered place where you allow more of your consciousness, more of your creativity to come through without analyzing it. So a singer who is lost in the song, or an actor who is becoming the part, or a painter who gets lost in the painting, those are all different forms of the channeling state. But in that state, you can also use it to get in touch with different levels of your own consciousness and also different levels of consciousness within creation. So my understanding of this channeling is that somewhere at some point, Bashar and I made this agreement for him to connect with my consciousness to be able to speak to you this way today. This channeling does not require that you believe that Bashar is another entity. The most important thing is the information. I have no way of proving at this point that Bashar is real anyway. However, this is the way the channeling happened, and I respect that it comes through this way because that's the way it works best. But when Bashar makes the connection, he will present himself as a separate individual. He has said that he is an extraterrestrial consciousness, and he has explained this channeling in the following way. To him, the idea is like two tuning forks. When one tuning fork is made to vibrate, then another tuning fork nearby will pick up on those vibrations sympathetically and start to vibrate in the same way. So I allow certain changes to happen in my consciousness, and wherever he is, he allows certain changes to happen in his consciousness, and then somewhere the vibrations of our two consciousnesses meet in the middle and vibrate the same. And so what you get here, what you hear coming out here, is a translation of his thoughts. He's not actually speaking any language at all. It just comes out in English because that's the language that I was raised to understand, and that's why we need a translation. So in a sense, I'm functioning like a biological radio or a biological telephone. When he comes through, he will probably speak about something for a few minutes, and then he will open it up to question. I would like to thank you again very much for coming today. I very much appreciate you being here, and please have a good time. Bye-bye.
Say good day to you this day of your time. How are you? How are you? All right, thank you. We must make sure there is someone on the other end of this transmission before we begin. We do not want to just talk to ourselves. We want to make sure that we are speaking with someone. Of course, even though we are speaking with all of you, we are still, in a way, speaking with ourselves. And when you speak with us, you are speaking to another version of yourself as well. For all consciousness is one consciousness. Many of you know this, but perhaps some of you have not necessarily explored the concept of oneness in a variety of different ways. So let us explore a few different ways that you can understand how everything in creation is one thing. We have spoken of some of these ideas before, but to begin this interaction, it will be a good idea to speak a little bit again of some of these ideas to refresh your memory. So let us begin. Imagine, if you will, a puzzle with many pieces. And you know that when you put the puzzle pieces together, then you come up with a whole picture. Now, the whole picture, of course, is made out of all the many pieces. And each piece has a unique shape. And all the pieces are different. But when you put them all together next to each other in the right way, you come up with one whole picture. So what you can immediately understand from this is the following idea. That the only way you are going to successfully create the whole picture is if you allow all the pieces to be unique. If you try to change the shape of the pieces, then they will no longer fit the way they are meant to. Each piece must be allowed to be in the shape in which it was originally created. If you put almost all of the pieces together, but then have a space where there is a missing piece, you must find which shape goes into that space. If you do not find a piece in that exact shape and put it into the space, the picture will not be whole. If you find a piece, but then say, I do not like this shape, I'm going to change the shape, then it will no longer fit. If you make the piece into something that it is not, it will no longer fit, and you will no longer be able to create the whole picture. So this example demonstrates and illustrates the paradox of unity. And the paradox of unity is the following: that you only get one whole big picture if you allow all the pieces to be unique instead of all the same. So wholeness is the product of difference. Sameness is the product of difference. When all the pieces are allowed to be the pieces they are meant to be, they can all work together to create one whole same reality. But if you are taught to be something different than you naturally are, taught to be a different shape than you were naturally created to be, then you no longer fit in the big picture. Now let us look at another example. Imagine a cube. A cube has 6 sides. But then there is also a structure that you know as a hypercube. Here is the difference between the 3-dimensional cube and the higher dimensional hypercube. If you have a cube and you have a doorway in each side, you have 6 doors to get into and out of the cube. And in the 3rd-dimensional cube, no matter how many times you go in and out of any of those doors, you're always going in and out of the same cube. But the hypercube is different. Higher dimensional cube acts very differently. If you have a hypercube with doors in each side, something very different will happen when you go through those doors. If you go in the door in one side of the cube, you will enter one cube. But if you go in a door in a different side of the cube, you will enter a totally different cube. So if you have a hypercube with 6 sides and 6 doors, you actually have 6 cubes occupying the same space. And each door you go in will take you inside a completely different cube. Physical reality is structured this way. Past, present, and future do not really exist. As many of you have heard for a long time, time is an illusion. All different realities, past, present, future, or in other dimensions or in other places, all exist simultaneously here and now. It is like the hypercube with 6 cubes in one spot. So the idea of how to experience your physical reality similar to the hypercube is as follows. First, you must begin to understand that all possible experiences already exist now. The past is not way back there. The future is not way out there. It is all right here, right now. But you only experience one viewpoint at a time because of how you believe. If you understand that all experiences are interwoven and exist now, then changing from one idea, one experience to another is not as complicated as having to wait to get to the future. As we have said before, physical reality is very similar to your radio and TV sets. You know that all the programs are there at the same time, but you only get one at a time depending on which vibration you change your channel to. When you are watching one program, it doesn't mean that the other programs don't exist. All the energy wavelengths are right there at the same time, but you only see the energy wavelength that you tune to at that moment. This is the same with physical reality. All realities, all experiences are all right here at the same time. There is only now. But what you experience as time, what you experience as past, present, and future are just different viewpoints of the same one now moment. So to change your experience, you are simply changing your viewpoint of now. It is not really the future, it is just a different now. And understanding that everything exists now can make it easier for you to understand how to change your viewpoint to the now that you would prefer. Because you know you don't have to do anything special to create that now. It already exists. You just have to tune into it. And that makes your job of living a lot easier if you want it to be. It can make your experience of physical reality more creative to know that every possible experience already exists, and all you have to do is learn to choose another now if that is what you prefer. Many of the questions and interactions that we shall have together this day of your time will mostly involve this idea. And so you can understand also from this principle another concept. Because there is no future, there is no such thing as a prediction of the future. What you call a prediction of the future is simply a sensing of another possible now. Now, if you have a lot of energy focused on that now, then the prediction, in a sense, can make it seem as if that now is likely to manifest. In other words, the prediction comes true, as you say. But if your energy and your belief systems are not strongly focused on that other now, then it will likely not manifest, or as you say, the prediction did not come true. Also understand that when a prediction is made, what that is doing is focusing your attention on a different now, and it is giving you an opportunity to decide if that now is what you really want to experience. The prediction is simply making you aware of another possible avenue that you can take, another possible experience that you can choose. And so this is also why some predictions do not come true. Because once they focus your attention on the possibility of that reality, you may change your mind and decide you prefer something different. The predictions that do come true are simply an understanding of a possible reality that had a lot of energy behind it and may have been unlikely to change direction. So even though a prediction may not come true, it doesn't mean that the person who made the prediction is wrong. They may have been correct at the time the prediction was made. Because a prediction is only a present time sensing of all of the factors that exist at the moment the prediction is made. If you hear a prediction and you say, "Oh, I do not prefer that idea," then that energy alone is enough to change the prediction and make it not come true. So the point of all of this is that there is no absolute future. There is no absolute past. There is only an infinite number of different nows. And it is within your power to choose which version of now you will experience as the moments of your life. Doesn't that sound like fun? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, it is.
All right. Now, this is simple physics. That's all it is. This is not big mysterious ideas. You get the reality that is tuned to the vibration you are giving off. That's all it is. Physical reality is like a mirror. If you smile in the mirror, your reflection will smile back. It doesn't have a choice. It doesn't have a choice. It doesn't have a choice. If you frown, the mirror will frown back. It doesn't have a choice. It must reflect what you give off. But we understand that on your planet, many people will sometimes look into the mirror of life and they will see a frown, and they will spend a lot of time attempting to turn the reflection into a smile in the mirror. But you know the truth is that the reflection in the mirror cannot smile until you smile first. So if you wish to see anything change in your physical reality, you must change first so that physical reality may reflect the change to you. If you wait for physical reality to change before you do, no change will ever occur. All you're doing then is standing in front of the mirror saying, no, you smile first. I will not smile until my reflection smiles first. You're still not smiling, so I will not smile. And so you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait for the reflection in the mirror to change, which it never does. But when you finally say to yourself, oh, I'm tired of frowning, I will just decide to smile anyway, then you will obviously turn around and instantly see a smile in the reflection in the mirror. Because the mirror does not have a mind of its own, it must reflect what you do first. Now you must understand, I am not speaking metaphorically. This is reality. Physical reality is a mirror. Just like a mirror, there is really nothing over there at all. The reflection is really not substantial. There's nothing in the mirror. It's all reflected back. Physical reality is exactly, literally the same way. There is nothing out there. It's all a reflection of what's in here. Physical reality is the product of what you believe to be true. Nothing more, nothing less. It is a reflection of the things you hold to be most true. The strongest ideas, the strongest beliefs, the strongest emotions you believe to be true. Now, it is also true that on your planet, you have what is called sometimes a conscious and an unconscious mind. And sometimes some of the strongest beliefs can be in your unconscious mind, so you may not be aware that you have them. So if you have unconscious beliefs that you don't prefer to have, and they are unconscious, then how are you going to know that they are there? That is why creation has given you the gift of physical reality. It's a mirror to show you what your strongest beliefs are, whether they be conscious or unconscious. Therefore, if your life is not what you prefer it to be, that is showing you that somewhere in your conscious or unconscious mind there are ideas, thoughts, beliefs, and emotions that may not necessarily be in best alignment with your true, original, natural self. You were born as a natural puzzle piece, but perhaps over time you have grown into a different shape and you no longer fit in the big picture. Using the mirror of physical reality to help you get in touch with your strongest beliefs and emotions will help you to change your shape back to its original form so that you then fit perfectly in the big picture. And thus allowing you to be a unique, strong individual, but at the same time allowing your individuality to support the whole picture of creation. And then when you are the natural individual that supports all of creation, then the whole of creation can support you because you fit. And by the way, you are doing a wonderful job. Therefore, based on these ideas we are communicating to you now in this transmission, we may continue in the following way. You may begin with question.
まず質問してください。I'll ask you a question.
Oh, all right, but one moment. What happened to, hello, good day?
I'm really glad to see you today.
Good day to you. All right, what is your question?
I would like to do channeling for myself,
All right, what type?
like the channeling that Bashar is doing right now.
You mean that I am doing right now?
That's right.
You wish to connect with another consciousness.
Yes.
All right, go ahead. No, I mean, all right, go ahead, channel. What is stopping you?
I do feel that in my everyday life I am experiencing this channeling.
All right, is there some specific way in which you wish to manifest some larger scale of manifestation? You wish to speak to groups of people, channel to large groups of people? Is that what you are saying?
Rather than to get in touch with group of entities, conscious entities.
No. I do not mean a group of entities. I mean, do you wish to channel to a group of people in a similar manner to what you are seeing in your place today?
Yes, I would like to do this to different kind of people, different type of people.
All right, why?
I am a hypnotherapist. In hypnotherapy, what I usually do is to have the client tell image about themselves. But what I want to do is to share that image with the client.
All right. Now, you say you are already doing a little bit of channeling, yes? Does this mean that you feel that you are sometimes inspired? You find yourself to be inspired to come through with some idea to help them?
Not yet, I feel.
Oh, not ever? You have never had inspiration in your imagination ever?
I don't really have the experience of feeling that inspiration that the other person is feeling.
So, are you saying that you do not have imagination?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I think I have imagination.
you have imagination. And so, then let me ask you a question, if I may. Can you tell me the difference between imagination and channeling? What is the difference to you? What is the difference to you?
What I feel is that for channeling is how I feel the imagination of other person being transported to my imagination.
What does that mean in your experience?
I feel that I want to be able to understand other people more.
All right, well, do you remember the television analogy we spoke of at the beginning? You get the information that you are tuned to. So, if you have a client, there are several things you can do to get in touch with what they are imagining and what they are feeling. One of the strongest things you can do in aligning with their energy is to mirror them. Now, let me give you a very simplistic example. I understand this is very simplistic, but now imitate what I am doing with the channel's body, all right? Do this. Are you doing it?
やってくださっていますか?
How are you feeling right now?
I feel a little bit embarrassed.
All right, well, get past it. Adopt the body language. Come on, you can do it. Are you doing it? How do you feel? Try to take a deep breath. Now, I said try to take a deep breath. Stay in this posture. Hunch over. Try to take a deep breath. You can't do it, can you? How does it feel? Does it feel constricted and tight?
Yes.
All right. Does that mean that you feel perhaps that you are under stress? Yes? No?
Yes.
All right. Now do this. Take a deep breath. Think of something wonderful and smile. How do you feel now?
I'm laughing.
Nothing at all. Do you feel no freedom?
I feel that it's fun.
Fun, all right. Well, that's something. That's not nothing.
He said I'm laughing.
Loving. All right. Loving. Very good. Now, this is a very simple demonstration, but this is really the illustration of the point. If you learn to mirror all the subtle ideas of your client's body language, you will begin to feel the same things that they do, exactly at the same moment that they feel them. And the better you get at that, the easier it will be for your imagination to open up and inspire you with compassion to know how to help them best because you will know what they are feeling exactly. And allow yourself to understand that there will be guides and spirits that will help you if you simply stay open to receiving their help. You may not always recognize when they are helping you, but they will. But if you practice learning to match your vibration to the vibration of your client, you will begin to sense what they are feeling, what they are thinking. You will know what they know because you will be vibrating on the same wavelength and having the same thoughts and feelings at the same time. This is the secret of telepathy. You are not actually reading someone else's mind. You are identifying your frequency with their frequency and having the same thought at the same time. Do you understand this explanation?
Yes.
Does this help you? Does this answer your question?
Yes, and also, at one point I heard that there was a lady named Sayuri who channels Bashar. And I heard that at one point Sayuri was attending a gathering like this, and she approached the stage where Bashar was, and something happened within her at that point. And from then on, she began channeling Bashar.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
But that is a unique situation for her energy. You have a different path. There were certain connections that needed to occur for that individual that allowed her to heal certain things she needed to heal. And also at this time, there are a variety of many different kinds of entities that are available for individuals to make a connection with, to channel. But at this time, only the entity sitting on the stage before you will channel me. However, I am not the only member of my species. There are many Ethasani people that are available for you to get in touch with that you can practice channeling. So, you can use meditation and open yourself up to that possibility. But most of all, use your excitement to allow you to guide yourself to what you need to know in order for it to unfold in the best possible way for you. This is all about trust. There is no one way to do this. There are many different ways it could happen. But first and most importantly, you must allow yourself to trust that the way that will be best for you will come to you. Being in this interaction today with us is a small part of the way in which this will begin to expand and unfold for you, but there will be many other things that will happen for you as well to get you there. But first, the way that we suggested about mirroring the body language of the people you wish to help would be a good way for you to start to practice getting into the right frequency. If you find that you are too embarrassed to do this, then you must explore the issue of why you believe you must be embarrassed before you can move on. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you? Thank you very much. I hope you understand that you are all applauding for yourselves as well. Next question. And to you, good day. Thank you very much.
My name is Sekita.
Oh, all right, if you insist.
I've been wanting to see you for a long time.
Well, you're still not seeing me. I'm not actually there with you, but close enough perhaps.
I am very excited.
Oh, all right, so am I. But then, I'm always excited. Can you imagine always being excited? Always, 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 always. Can you imagine that?
May I?
Yes.
Also, I do have a question.
Yes, I know. Are you impatient?
I'm sorry.
No, you do not have to be sorry. You never have to be sorry with me. But you didn't answer my question first. I'll make you a deal. You answer my question, then I'll answer your question. Can you imagine always, 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 always being excited all the time? Never not being excited? Can you imagine that?
I can.
All right. What's your question?
I want to ask you about the question of multiple dimension Pleiades people and people who are human beings who are close to me.
Yes, what about them?
My wife and my children, do they have any relationship with my multiple dimensional self?
No. Do you believe me?
I don't really know.
You don't really know? Let me ask you another question then. Why did you ask that question? You must have had some sense of the idea before you asked the question.
Because I wanted to know how I can live my life from now on.
Oh, forever?
No, in this lifetime.
Yes, forever? For the rest of your life?
I haven't thought that far.
All right, very good. Now, remember I asked you a question, can you imagine always being excited? Do you remember that question?
Yes, I said
And
that.
do you remember that you said, yes, I can imagine that?
Yes.
Were you lying to me?
No.
If you can imagine always being excited, then why are you asking me now, how should I live the rest of my life? Isn't the answer always being excited? Do you need more of an answer than that?
I get it.
Does that make sense? You see how in the question is the answer? I want to explain something very important to you and to all of you. Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? Are you paying attention? All right. Just checking. You cannot ask a question that you do not already contain the answer for. You cannot ask that which you do not already conceive of. If you have the ability to ask a question, it means you already have the answer, but you don't believe that you do. Does that make some sense to you?
I can really understand.
Why, thank you, I knew you could.
I may already know the answer to my next question.
Probably.
There is an acquaintance named Yoshino.
Yes?
Do I have any deep relationship with this particular individual?
No. Do you believe me?
No.
Thank you. Now, listen. Listen. Anyone who enters your life is there for a reason. There are no accidents. Everyone you are interacting with at any given moment is there for a very deep reason. Whoever you are interacting with at any given moment, at that moment is the most important, deep, connected relationship of your life. Because everyone is a mirror for everyone else, reflecting to them what they need to know in order to become more of who they are. So in every interaction, they reflect to you more of who you need to be, and you reflect to them more of who they need to be. More of who you each truly are. That is the gift that you give to each other through your relationships. Therefore, they are all deep. They are all profound. They all stretch into all dimensions of existence. Sometimes one aspect more than another may stand out because of the particular thing that you may need to see at that moment. But all relationships and all individuals exist on all dimensions, infinite dimensions of reality at the same time. It is all right to explore which aspects may be most prominent at any given moment, but you don't necessarily need to focus on that in order to truly understand why that person is in your life at that moment. So my suggestion would be, and it is just a suggestion, rather than saying, does my family have Pleiadian connections, or does my friend have multidimensional connections, a more immediately useful question would be, who am I discovering who I am by being in an interactive relationship with this person? And are they discovering more of who they are by being in a relationship with me? When you ask those questions, you will see the answers and you will understand the true meaning of relationship. And while you are at that moment then appreciating the individuality of yourself and the other individual, you will also at the same time appreciate the oneness that you are, the pieces of the same one creation that you are reflecting to each other, more that creation can be. Does that make some sense? Does that help clarify the situation for you?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next question.
I am interested in Pleiades.
Next questioner.
I'm sorry.
That is all right. You do not have to be sorry. Remember that too.
I've been wanting to meet you. I've started to read a book about Bashar from 1990. I've read it several times.
Yes.
And the content was wonderful. I felt that my heart was being purified and cleansed as a result of reading the book.
All right. One moment.
ちょっとお待ちください。
One moment.
ちょっとお待ちください。
We thank you, but also wish to remind you that if you felt your heart was being purified and cleansed, it was because you were allowing it to be so, not so much coming from the book, but we are happy to help. So, continue.
Question.
Yeah.
There are a few things that popped up in my mind. You mentioned about the original shape of the puzzle.
Yes.
I think this is same as true selves.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yes.
So if that is the case, if we become that original shape, what would it feel like? What will I feel?
You will find that your life will unfold in an effortless flow of love, creativity, and synchronicity. You will find that you will always feel you are in the right place at the right time, interacting with exactly the right person you need to interact with at that moment. You will feel that life is an orchestration. You will know and understand that there are no accidents. Everything is happening in perfect harmony. And no matter what you see, and no matter what you do, and no matter what anyone else is doing, you will always be able to extract a positive experience from everything for yourself. Does that make some sense to you?
Wonderful. That's how I would like to be.
All right, you go ahead and be that way. May I ask you another question first?
I intend to.
Do you believe it is that simple?
Huh?
In other words, do you believe that you can just decide to be that way and then you will? Or do you feel it is important to complicate it a little bit? Now, I'm not saying that you do not create challenge, but do you feel that you have to create pain or suffering in order to earn happiness? Or can you allow yourself to believe that it is as simple as choosing to be in that state and then it will be so? And can you choose to remain in that state no matter what anything in physical reality looks like? What do you think?
I get to answer now?
Yes.
To be honest with you,
Yes, please be honest.
I can understand what Bashar is saying in my head, in my gut, in my body. I think that I cannot really believe it in my head, in my gut.
Thank you very much for your honesty. For you have put your finger on the first obstacle. You have put your finger squarely on the first and one of the most important and strongest beliefs that many people on your planet have. And that is that they believe in the separation of mind and heart. Let me remind you, you are one being. Your mind and your heart are one thing, even though they may seem separate in your body. The body is just a metaphor. Your heart is here, just as much as your mind is here. So, practice some meditations where you practice feeling with your mind and thinking with your heart. Go back and forth. Think with your mind, feel with your heart, feel with your mind, think with your heart. Go back and forth. Do that and practice that until you find that your thoughts and your feelings are aligned, are one, and you're not sure exactly where they're coming from. Practice and let them go back and forth until your thoughts and your feelings just come from your whole being, from one unbroken whole idea of yourself. This is why what you call martial arts are a very good technique of meditation for blending mind and feeling. Because when mind and feeling are blended, there is just action. You no longer need to think about how you feel or feel about how you think in order to be who you are. You just be who you are. And in that state, your thoughts and your feelings and your actions all flow as one. I believe that on your planet, you have a saying that comes from one of your popular mythological stories. This saying sums up the idea of allowing your thoughts and your heart and your actions work as one. That saying from your popular story is, use the force. You understand the meaning of that phrase? It is a state of total trust. And here's the big secret. I'm going to let you in on a big cosmic secret right now. And the reason this is such a big cosmic secret is because it isn't really a secret at all. It's actually so obvious that many of you just overlook it. But that's why it has become such a big secret. Because you have made it become almost invisible on your planet. And the secret is this. You already know what you're doing. And you already know who you are. If you trust that you already know who you are, and you trust that you already know what you're doing, you will just be who you are and do what you need to do. Automatically, it will just flow from you. For example, when we were asked to speak with all of you this day, we were simply asked to speak. We did not have a plan. So, what we spoke about when we first opened this interaction was simply created in the moment. We did not rehearse what we said to you, just as we are not rehearsing what we are saying to you now. When someone asks us, Bashar, will you speak about relationship? Bashar, will you speak about quantum mechanics? Bashar, will you speak about the weather? We do not sit down and plan a speech. We do not even think about it for 1 second before we start speaking. But the reason we can just start speaking about those subjects and continue speaking about them is because we simply know that we are who we are, we do what we do, and what comes out will be what needs to come out because we trust the interaction and the relationship that we have with ourselves and with you. But if I believed that my mind and my heart were separate, then I would be sitting here right now going, you forgot the thank you. Does that make some sense to you? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, but it's not really yes. It's vaguely yes.
Oh, vaguely yes.
May I ask you one more time?
Oh, all right, I will allow you. Of course, you already just asked me a question by asking me if you could ask me a question. And you see, you did that without thinking about it. You just did it. Because you weren't paying attention to it. You just did it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the state I'm talking about. You see what I mean? Go ahead, ask your next question.
I don't want to ask you a long question, so I want to change the question altogether.
Oh, is he allowed to do that? Let me check with the big council of space. Oh, all right, they say you can change your question.
Thank you very much.
You know I'm kidding, right? All right.
If there is a way in which we can effectively convince people, could you share that with us?
Convince them of what?
For example, negotiation, if there's a conflict.
Yes. All right, I understand. I understand. Stop.
If there is a way to peacefully resolve...
I understand. Stop. First of all, number one, there are two parts to this answer. The first thing you must remember is this. It is not possible to convince anyone of anything. Not possible. Part two, what you can do is help them to convince themselves. Do you understand the difference? Do you understand the difference between those two approaches? You cannot convince anyone, but you can help them to convince themselves. Do you understand the difference between those two ideas? One moment. What I am asking you now, I would appreciate if you would just answer yes or no. Do you understand the difference between those two approaches?
I understand, yes.
Thank you. Let's keep this simple, one step at a time. All right?
Yes,
Now, the next idea to understand is this. This is how you help people to convince themselves. You must look for what is best for all concerned. You must explore and discover with them what is their basic wish. What is the basic wish that they want to be fulfilled? Now, basic wishes will always be basic. Very simple. For example, let us say you ask someone, well, what do you wish for? And they say, oh, I wish for a very powerful, fast car. You can understand right away that is not a basic wish. But what is it that having the car will allow you to feel? Having the car will allow me to feel free. So what you are saying is, your basic wish is that you want to feel free. That is the basic wish. And then you can understand that there actually may be many different ways to fulfill the basic wish. The car may not necessarily have to be given to them. There may be another way that they can be allowed to feel free. Negotiation is never about the things that people ask for. It's about why they're asking for them with regard to a fundamental basic wish that they want fulfilled. And almost every single basic wish comes down to just about the same thing. I want to feel love. I want to feel respected. I want to feel powerful. I want to feel like I belong, that I count for something. I want to feel that I am empowered to have the freedom to choose who I want to be. When you know that these are the real, fundamental, basic wishes they want fulfilled, then the things that they are asking for can actually be very different and they can change. Once you know that you can fulfill the basic wish, you can probably fulfill the basic wish with any number of things in any number of ways. It's not the things that are important in the negotiation, it's why they're being asked for. And the last and most important thing to remember in any art of negotiation is this: everything is one thing. Therefore, it must be win-win. If they don't win, you don't win. If you don't win, they don't win. If someone loses in a negotiation, if they are made to feel that they have lost, you all lose. Because they are just another aspect, another part of you. You are just another aspect and another part of them. So if you find creative ways, clever ways, imaginative ways to support each other and to fulfill each other's fundamental basic wish, then everybody wins and you support the whole, which can then support everybody. I am going to now reveal another cosmic secret. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready? This is a very, very big cosmic secret. I want to be sure you're ready to handle it. So are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, only a few people are ready. Oh, all right. Laughter says that more of you are ready. Here is the cosmic secret. Pay attention. There is enough for everyone. There is no lack of anything. Most negotiations that occur between many people on your planet bring with them the energy that people think that there is not enough of this. I have to get this. There is only enough for me. They can't have it. When you know there is enough for everyone, when you know there is no lack of anything, then negotiation is a matter of working together to support each other in creating a new idea. Everyone's basic wish can be fulfilled in the negotiation. Everyone can win. Do you agree? Does this help you with the idea of negotiation a bit?
It was really useful.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you one last question?
That was a question, and so that was your last one. Bye-bye. Next question. Andrew, you good day.
I saw you 10 years ago in channeling session.
Yes.
What I want to ask you today is, I would like to meet a soulmate. I enjoyed a book called How to Meet Your Soulmate. And
yes.
In that book it said,
I know what it said, you don't have to tell me.
my question is, will I be able to meet my soulmate in this lifetime?
No. Do you believe me?
No,
Why don't you believe me?
because it doesn't feel like I won't be able to meet this person from now on.
Oh, it doesn't feel like it? You are saying that you trust your feelings? Yes? No?
I don't know.
Oh, one moment. Let's back up. Let's start over. You asked me, will I meet my soulmate in this life? I said no. Then I asked if you believed me, and you said no, I don't believe you. And I said, why not? And you said, because I feel like I will meet my soulmate. So doesn't that mean you are trusting your feelings?
More or less, yes.
More or less? Well, which is it, more or less?
I would like to believe.
Oh, you would like to believe. Oh. Why? What does it mean if you believe that you will meet your soulmate in this life? Now, don't answer yet. I'm going to give you something to think about while you're thinking about it. Can you think about two things at the same time? Will that be all right?
I'll do that, yes.
Oh, all right, thank you. Soulmate is anyone you are interacting with at any given moment. Because right at that moment that you are interacting with them, they are the most important person in your life. But I understand what you mean by the other definition of soulmate. But what I am telling you now is, it is easier to attract the kind of soulmate you are talking about when you do not focus so much on needing that kind of soulmate and recognize everyone as a soulmate. When you recognize every person in your life at that moment is the most important person and therefore your soulmate at that moment, then you are validating and acknowledging that your life is already working just perfectly because it's bringing you everyone that needs to be brought to you automatically without you having to try to find them. When you understand that your life is already working perfectly by bringing you everyone you need, you can trust that it will continue to bring you everyone you need, and if that soulmate you're talking about needs to be in your life, then that soulmate will be in your life at some point automatically, just like everyone else, because your life already works. You do not have to search for your soulmate. Soulmate, where are you? Because if you know your life works automatically, then you know everything will come to you as it needs to in the best way for you. But pay attention to this. If you are afraid, if you are in fear that you will never find your soulmate, then the fear is not allowing you to be your true natural self. And if you are not being your true natural self, how is your soulmate going to recognize you? You understand what I mean? So if you relax and just be yourself and trust that your life is working, then you will be your true self, and everyone that resonates, that vibrates to your true self will automatically come into your life exactly perfectly when they need to, and you don't have to wonder when they're going to get there because you're too busy interacting with who's with you now. Does that explanation work for you?
Yes.
Does that help clarify the idea of soulmate somewhat for you? I understand. Did you understand what I already said? Right now, this moment, right now, I am your soulmate because you're interacting with me. You are my soulmate because you are interacting with me. Do you understand? This is real. It isn't just a word. We are soulmates right now. Right now, we are one soul. We are different aspects of one soul reflecting to each other. Right now, by being in this relationship, we are in love. The next person that comes into your life, the next person that you talk to will be your soulmate, and you will be in love with them. And the person after that, and the person after that, and the person after that. The one who will then find that it is appropriate to express that relationship to you romantically will come along when they need to, but you don't need to focus on it, as we already said. If you insist that it must happen a certain way at a certain time, then you're not trusting your life, which means you're not being your true self, and it means you're actually keeping that kind of a soulmate interaction away from you. First, you must be in love with yourself. When you are in love with yourself and allow yourself then to be your true self, everyone that needs to be in your life will be in your life exactly, perfectly when they need to be. The timing is already perfect. Trust it. Treat everyone that you interact with as your soulmate, and before you know it, you'll find that you will be in a relationship with that particular kind of soulmate you're asking for. But the longer you exclude everyone else and insist only on that one person, the longer it will take for that person to find you. If you know they will show up in perfect timing, then you don't have to wonder what time it is and where are they. Do you understand?
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next questioner.
Hello?
And to you, good day.
10 years ago, I read a book about Bashar, and I was very moved by that. I was surprised because the image that I got from the book and what I'm feeling now through Darrell's body is a little bit different.
Yes, of course, there will always be some difference in interpretation. What you are experiencing is a translation of my thoughts into the energy of the channel in front of you, because I must work with the energy that already exists on your planet.
Can I ask you a question?
I don't know, can you?
Yes, I can.
All right, then go ahead.
My question is, what is my vocation, God-given job? Because there is the boss that I do not like in my workplace right now. So I do not like my workplace and I want to quit.
What would you rather be doing? What would you be more excited to do if you could? What would be the most exciting thing you can imagine doing if you could choose to do anything? Do you know?
For example, volunteer work excites me.
Is that the most exciting thing?
Knowing, feeling that I am helping somebody.
Yes,
and
is
this
that the
person
most exciting thing that you can think of right now?
Yes.
All right, go do it. You have some other questions about this?
Then how can I get my income?
I don't know. What makes you think you need income? Are you going to say, oh, because I have to eat and because I have to live in a house and so forth? Is that what you are going to say?
Yes. I have debt, so I need to return money, pay back.
I see. Well, what if someone let you live in a house for free? Then would you need to pay for a house? What if someone gave you your food for free or in trade? Then would you need money to buy food? What if someone paid your debts for you, or the person to whom you owed money said, well, you don't owe me the money anymore, that's all right. Then would you need that money? Yes? No? Would you need the money if those things happen?
No, I won't need the money.
Do you believe those kinds of things can happen? Or do you find it difficult to believe that those kinds of things can happen? Be honest.
It's very difficult for me to believe that.
Thank you for your honesty. Then until you can believe that such things can happen, you'd better keep your job. When you believe that such things can happen, then you will be able to quit. Because when you believe that such things can happen, such things will happen. But as long as you do not believe that such things can happen, such things will not happen. Here is what I am actually saying to you. Whatever it is that excites you the most is representative of your true self. If it is true that doing volunteer work is the most exciting thing that you can think of, then that is representative of your true self. At this moment, that is. More exciting, then the most exciting thing is more representative of your true self, and that is the direction in which you need to go. But for now, let us use the example that you have given, because this will work for anything once you decide whatever it is that is the most exciting thing. When you understand that the thing that excites you the most to do is representative of your true self, then you must also understand something else, very important. And that is this. The thing that excites you the most, because it is representative of your true self, will always bring with it the things you need to allow you to continue to do that thing. Because every idea is a complete idea, a complete toolkit that contains all the things you will need to be able to continue to do that thing. If an idea did not contain all the necessary tools to attract to you what you need to be able to keep doing it, it would be an incomplete creation. And there are no incomplete creations. You may not be able to know exactly how you will be supported, but you can trust and know for certain that if you move into the volunteer work because it is most exciting, then you will be supported somehow. If you are willing to be the natural piece of the puzzle by being your true self and then fit into the whole picture will somehow support you, even if you don't know and can't imagine how it could be possible. Here is an example that actually happened on your planet. We want to choose an example that actually happened to people on your planet so that you understand we are not just making this up. We have used this example before, and some of you may recognize it, but it is a good example, especially in your case. There was an individual who saw this beautiful house on top of a hill, and it was a very beautiful place, and he was very excited to live in that house someday. But the house was very expensive. So even though it was very exciting to think about living in the house, the individual was very sad because it did not have enough money to buy the house. And so the individual said, well, maybe I will go and get a job and I will work hard and then I will make enough money, I don't know, maybe in 10 years. And maybe then I will be able to buy the house. But it's not really a job that excites me, and I will be very unhappy while I am making all this money. And so the individual goes on his way to a job interview. And on the way to the job interview, the individual runs into a friend sitting in a coffee shop. And the friend says, oh, please, come and join me for some coffee. And the person going to the job says, oh, well, what are you doing here? And the person sitting at the table says, oh, I'm waiting for another friend. And the first person says, well, I would love to sit and have coffee. I'm very excited about that. More excited than going to get this job. But I have to go get this job because I have to make enough money to go and buy his house. But then they say, well, maybe I'll sit down just for a minute. But then I have to hurry up and go get the job. And while they are sitting there chatting with their friend, then the other person's friend comes along and sits down. And the first person says, oh, well, nice to meet you, but I have to be leaving now. And the new person says, oh, leaving so soon? Why are you in such a hurry? And the person explains, oh, well, I have to go and get this job that I'm going to hate in order to make lots of money to buy this beautiful house I saw. And the new person says, oh, well, that doesn't sound very exciting. Which house is it that you're talking about? And the person says, oh, there's this house up on that hill. It's such a beautiful house. And the new person says, that house? That's my house. You want to live in that house? Oh, yes, you have such a beautiful house. I would love to live in that house. And the new person says, well, what a coincidence. I am leaving the country for 3 years, and I was going to ask my friend if they knew of someone who would stay in that house and take care of it for me for free. You mean I can live in your house for free? And I don't need to go and get the job? I can live in the house for free? Wow, very exciting. And now I can see that by following my excitement and staying here, I ran into you and everything worked out perfectly to allow me to experience my greater excitement. Whereas if I had gone to the job, I would have missed you. We understand that to many people on your planet, such stories sound like fairy tales. But that is how reality works when you follow your excitement. You get to see symbols reflected synchronistically to you in life that show you that life already works if you will be but willing to believe and act as your true self. But if you cannot believe that life is magic, don't quit your job. When you do believe life is magic, really believe it, then go ahead. You can do whatever you want. But be certain that you really believe it and you're not just playing games with yourself. You must truly allow yourself to understand that life really does work that way. You must truly trust it. I can absolutely guarantee to all of you that life does work that way. But it doesn't matter whether I guarantee it or not. Only you can guarantee it for yourself. Does this help you?
Thank you very much. It's been very helpful.
Next question. And to you, good day. Nice to meet you too.
I think in my consciousness I have met you before.
All right. Hello again. We interact with many of you on many different levels of consciousness, many different times. Our people and all of your planet's people are engaged in a very, very deep relationship. So, yes, from time to time, some of you may recognize us. Also, some of the familiarity is that you are recognizing yourselves. For many of us are your future selves. Now, I understand that I said that there is no future, there is no time, but I am simply using the word for convenience sake. And so what is your question?
It's not a very personal question.
That does not matter.
About 10 years ago, I encountered Bashar.
Yes.
And from Bashar, I received this wonderful message saying that what excites you is the most important thing. And this is something that neither my parents nor my teachers have taught me before. So this is a wonderful message that I received from Bashar.
All right, thank you.
And I've been searching for the thing that excites me the most. What excites me the most?
Oh, you do not have to search. Remember that when we say, do the thing that excites you the most, we simply mean at any given moment. Did you come to this interaction today because this was the most exciting thing you could do today? Yes or no?
Of course it's yes.
Then what will be the most exciting thing you can do after this interaction is over today? That is all you have to ask yourself. That is all you have to answer. You do not have to mean what excites me the most as a job or a career or a long-term project. If the thing that excites you the most is a job or a career or a long-term project, that's fine, but it doesn't have to be. The most important way to understand following your excitement is to follow your excitement at every moment, choose the most exciting thing you are capable of acting on at that moment and act on it with integrity. Then that will lead to the next most exciting choice. And that will lead to the next most exciting choice, and the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. And then even if it never turns into a career or comes in the form of a job, you will still be living your excitement every moment. And your whole life will be a series of exciting moments. Does that make more sense to you? Does that answer your question sufficiently?
I haven't really asked your question yet.
Well, yes, you have. Because when you said, I am searching for it, that is a question. Because you are questioning what to do. You understand? It was a question in your mind and your heart, and we are explaining how you can understand the answer very clearly. So, is there something else you wish to ask?
I did end up searching for it.
All right. Well, you can stop searching now. You can just act now and not search. You can act every moment. Does that make sense? All right. Anything else?
I realized that what excites me the most is to be involved with developing countries.
All right.
So, as a result, I'm working for international NGO, non-government organizations.
All right. Is this exciting?
At first, it was very exciting.
And now?
I spent most of my time at my desk doing paperwork.
Are you saying that this is not exciting?
Yes.
Well, then this is where you need to start using your imagination. You say you want to work with developing nations. Well, let's first develop the imagination. The idea is for you to figure out not only what excites you the most, but for you to also imagine the way in which it would be most exciting to do it. It's the same thing. You cannot do what excites you the most in an unexciting way. You must be open to the possibility that your imagination can lead you or attract to you an idea of how to do this in a way that is also exciting, as well as the thing itself being exciting. The reason that this happened the way it did is because you had in your mind a separation between the thing and the way the thing is done. You must make it one idea that the exciting thing also brings with it a way to do it that's exciting, and a place to do it that's exciting. It must all be exciting. Otherwise, it's not the thing that you're really excited about yet. You do not have to allow yourself to believe that there's only one way to do this exciting thing. Trust your imagination and explore many other ways in which you could be doing this thing that would also be more exciting ways of doing it. Now, there is also another side to this issue. You must make sure that you are able to tell the difference between something that you're doing that is really not exciting, as opposed to you are just maybe making it not exciting because of your expectations about it. In other words, maybe you have a belief that just automatically says paperwork is not exciting. But maybe paperwork could be exciting. So first, explore in your imagination to see if there is a way to allow the paperwork that you are doing to be done in a more exciting way. Then, after you have explored all possibilities to see if that could be so, and if you decide then, well, it's true, the paperwork is not my excitement, then you can know there will be another way that you can do this. Maybe you will even have to create a whole new way that that job can be done so that it will be exciting for you. But if you are open to your imagination showing you the way, then all you have to do is at any given moment just act on the thing you can do that's most exciting, and that excitement will lead you into circumstances that will show you what other way perhaps you could be doing it that's more exciting. Excitement at each moment feeds long-term excitement. Long-term excitement feeds excitement at each moment. They help each other become more and more and more and more exciting. You understand? So, start inventing more exciting ways in your mind and your imagination to do this job in a more exciting way. You may have to invent something completely new, but that's all right. If that completely new thing is representative of your highest excitement, then you must trust that that is what will take you where you need to go. Thank you very much, and you may all now enjoy your short break. We will resume this transmission after your break. Okay, thank you. And let us continue with questions. Andrew, you good day.
I would like to ask you a question.
Yes?
どうぞ。
We assume that is why you are speaking.
When I make a choice, sometimes fear comes up.
Yes?
What can I do so that I can trust?
All right. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
Remember, first of all, that you are always trusting in something, even if it is that you are trusting in your fear. The first thing to understand is that fear does not mean that you lack trust. It just means that you're putting your trust in a belief about something that is not aligned with your true self. Sometimes when you define things in a new way, you can allow yourself to understand how to change them more easily because you can see more transparently what the mechanism is that you are using. So if you find that you are experiencing fear, you can explore this in a number of ways. You must allow yourself to discover what the belief is that would allow you to experience fear with regard to the choice that you are making. You can ask yourself what you believe will happen that would be negative if you make this choice. When you find out what it is you believe will happen, you can begin to understand that it doesn't mean that it has to happen. It's just a belief that you have, that it might happen. But beliefs are really nothing more than definitions that you have been taught. When you find out what the definition is that you have, then you can allow yourself to change the definition into something that you would prefer it to be. So, do you have a specific fear about something that you can share with us so that we can use a specific example of your life?
Although I'm not sure what it is that I want to do, but I am thinking about quitting the company, my job.
All right, and what is your fear?
To do what I like to do, but as the other person said just now.
Yes, but you must also, as we told them, be sure that you are willing to act on your excitement fully. Otherwise, it would be wiser to keep your job until you believe you can act fully on your excitement. If you quit your job, but then don't do anything to fill the space that you have created, it will be a difficult situation for you. So, if you are willing, if you quit your job, to truly act at every moment on what really excites you in the fullest possible way, then that can guide you. But let us find out what your specific fears are about this choice you wish to make. Share them if you will.
To make a living.
All right, now you heard us talk to the other person about this. Did you understand what we told them? How if they follow their excitement in a true fashion, that their reality will support them somehow? Did you understand that concept?
In my head, yes.
Oh, another head-heart person. What is it that stops you from believing that you will be supported? Why does your heart not believe that your excitement will attract what you need to support you? Why is that difficult to believe? What definition do you have that says that that is not something that will happen? Can you figure out what some of your definitions are? In other words, for example,
つまり、例えば、
you may have a definition that says people that quit their jobs will always have a hard time finding something else. Or maybe you have a belief or a definition that says it is, I do not deserve to do the thing that I would really love to do. Or maybe you have some other belief or definition. Can you tell us what one might be?
I'm not really clearly aware of that myself.
All right, well, let's explore a little deeper. Let us pretend that you have now quit your job. When you are not clear about your definitions, there is a technique that can help put you in touch with what the beliefs are. It involves using your imagination, and we call it the worst possible thing exercise. So, let us pretend you have quit your job. What do you imagine would be the worst possible thing that could happen to you because you quit your job? Make it the scariest thing you can imagine that you think might really happen if you no longer have a job. So, what do you fear it might be that would happen? The worst thing ever that could happen. Come on, I know you can do it. Dig into your fear. Don't be afraid to feel your fear. What is the most scary thing you can imagine that might happen if you no longer have a job?
I'll be alone.
Alone. Are you saying you have no friends?
It's not that.
Alright, what do you mean?
Before, I had the experience of being hospitalized, and I imagined that if something like that happens to me, I will not be able to think about something that is good or positive. And before, I had the experience of not being able to move my body so much so that I had difficulty walking.
Alright.
So even if I think about doing something,
Yes.
I won't be able to move my body with what I'm feeling.
Alright. That's the scariest thing you can think of then? That scares you a lot? Yes? No? Just making sure.
I am afraid. But it's not that 100% fear like it used to be.
Alright, so it is changing, yes?
Yes.
Well, what makes it less fearful now than it used to be? What changed it?
Because in my everyday life, what I wanted to happen was actually happening in reality.
Alright, and?
Of course, things happen when I'm afraid. Those things become emphasized and they are manifested. These things happen.
Alright, but they become emphasized how?
For example, when I get married,
Yes?
sometimes at home I had the experience of being beaten, and at my company where I work I was subjected to sexual harassment.
Alright.
There were things that happened because I was a woman. For example, even when I was around my neighborhood I was almost sexually assaulted.
Alright. And so you are afraid of these kinds of things, yes?
Yes.
Alright. Now, let me ask you a question if I may. Do you believe that you deserve these things? Yes or no?
Not that much, no.
Not that much? Yes or no? Are you saying that you believe you deserve to be beaten a little bit?
No, that's
No.
not the case.
Alright, so your answer is no, I do not deserve this. Is that correct? Alright. Now, how does it feel when you say that? No, I do not deserve this. How does it feel when you say that? Well, how does it feel? How does it feel when you say, I do not deserve these negative things? Do you feel stronger when you say that?
Yes.
Alright. What do you picture yourself doing that would give you joy? Name anything at all that gives you joy.
When I am making something,
Like what?
like some sort of art object,
Alright.
or audiovisual work.
Alright, so are you an artist? You're not sure? Are you an artist? Yes or no? Do you make art things? Do you make creative things?
Yes.
Then why are you hesitating to say that you are an artist? Why are you not sure that you are an artist when I ask you?
When I look at the work that I create,
Yes?
it's fine when I'm feeling well and energetic, but
Yes?
rest of the times when I look at the work,
Yes.
I feel I suffer when I see them.
Alright. Now, pay attention to the following idea. We understand that artists will always be challenged to do better things, more creative, more expanded things. True?
Yes.
But does that mean that what you did in the past is no good anymore? Let me give you an example for you to think about. Do you know what a ladder is? Have you ever climbed up a ladder?
Yes.
Alright. So, when you put your foot on the first rung of the ladder, that helps you get to the second rung. Yes? And the second rung helps you get to the third rung. Yes? And that helps you climb higher on the ladder with each step. Yes? So, when you are standing on the fifth rung, does that mean that the first rung is no good anymore?
No.
You see where I am going with this? What you have done is what helped you get where you are. Should you not appreciate it for having it, in that sense, helped you like the ladder climbed up higher? Should you not appreciate it in the same way that you appreciate the first rung of the ladder? What would happen if you were standing on the fifth rung of the ladder and you said to someone, oh, that first rung, it's no good, it's terrible. That first rung is worthless, it's no good at all anymore. Now, what if the first rung of the ladder heard you and believed you? And so the first rung now feels that it is worthless and it starts to fall apart and decay and crumble. If you keep thinking that the rungs below you are no good, then they're all going to break apart and pretty soon you will have no ladder at all to stand on. But if you know that everything you have done is beautiful and should be appreciated for what it is and where it has brought you, then you will have a strong ladder that you can keep climbing on and it will take you very high. Allow yourself to understand how strong and beautiful you are, and how strong and beautiful is everything that you do, even if you then do other things. If the things that you did before were worthless, then that means you are saying a part of you is worthless. And what you are saying then is that you are a worthless creation. But creation does not make worthless creations. If you did not have a purpose, if you did not have a part, if you were not a beautiful part of creation, then creation would not have created you to begin with. If creation made worthless things, then those things would fall apart and creation would fall apart. So if you still exist, then creation must believe that you are a beautiful and worthy artistic creation that it has made. It loves you, it cherishes you, and you deserve to feel the same way about yourself and everything that you do. And when you finally believe in your true beauty and your true strength, you will no longer attract individuals and situations in your life that reflect to you the idea that you are no good. But first, you must know that it must be true that you deserve anything you can imagine, or you would not exist, because creation does not make pointless and worthless people. Do you understand what we are saying? Sleep on what we have said and let it sink and soak into your heart like a warm, wonderful spring water. Do not turn away from the love of the universe. You deserve every bit of it that comes to it. You are a creation of art, and everything you do is an artistic creation that is beautiful. You understand? Our blessings to you. Next question.
Thank you very much.
And to you, good day.
I'm really glad to see you today.
All right, we thank you for this interaction.
I'm really glad to meet you like this.
We thank you for speaking with us over this human telephone.
From my veranda in my house, I often look up at the sky and wondering if I can meet you. Meet Bashar.
Not yet. It is not yet time. But someday, this will be common, and there will be many beings that your humans will interact with in time, not too very far in the future, but not yet. Certain changes must take place within your planet and your people first before the vibrations will be correct for such open interaction. But for now, we are happy to have these little chats. Do you have a question?
I am just happy as well.
We thank you for being happy. Next question. And are you good day?
I'm really glad to meet you.
All right, we are very excited to interact with you as well.
In 1993, I encountered the book on Bashar,
Yes.
and as a result of that, I went through a soul purification,
All
and
right.
I was able to apply what was written in the book, and
Thank
right
you.
now I am leading a very happy life.
Thank you.
It is about energy, masculine energy and feminine energy.
All right, masculine and feminine energy, yes.
I myself is having a difficulty fusing or integrating those two energies.
Are you
Which
sure?
really-
You sound pretty balanced. What is the difficulty you think you are having?
I run my own company.
Yes.
So during the daytime, about 40 people work for me, and they include a male employee who are older than me, or the female employee who are younger than me. So
Yes.
during the daytime, when I'm running my own company, I'm not really a very good human being.
Why?
I have
Why do
human
you
nature,
not feel you are a good human being?
Because people often say that people who are at the top, they are more, they make more money, more as they are more hated. If they're hated, they have more power.
But you said you do not feel like a good human being. All you have told us so far is what other people think about you. Do you think you are being a good human being? Do you think you are being fair and you are running your company in a fair and proper way?
Sometimes I get very emotional, but
Well, yes, but that still doesn't answer the question.
I learned from Bashar that what I want to do is to run my company with love and integrity.
Do you believe that you run your company with love and integrity? Are you doing the best you can?
I am doing my best.
Do you believe you are a bad person?
No.
Do you believe when other people say you are a bad person?
A couple of days ago, somebody told me that, and at that time I believed that.
Why did you believe that?
Because I had difficulty running my company at that time, so I had to reduce the salary of that person. So I felt a little bit guilty.
Why did that person believe that you were a bad person? Do you know?
No.
Why don't you know? Did you ask them?
I did ask.
And what did they say?
I was told that you, the president, is cold person.
All right, well, it doesn't matter what adjective you use. Did you ask them why they believe that?
I did ask.
And?
Because I was told that I am a cold person.
Yes, but why? Why do they think you're a cold person? What is it you are doing that makes them believe you are a cold person? What do they say makes you cold?
This is the person to whom I never really got angry with. That's what I told this person. When I told this person, she told me that whoever you are, the person who is at the top cannot be liked. He or she will be the object of hatred or dislike.
Do you believe this idea is true?
Not now, no.
Then forget about it. You have to recognize that it is that person's belief system and it isn't true for you. However, if you want to be a really good boss, then you can say to that person the following idea. If you believe that the person at the top automatically must be a bad person, then only two things are going to happen in your life. It means that if you believe that, then you will only ever be working for bad people, and it means that you will never be able to be a boss because you don't want to be a bad person, so you will never run your own company either. So if you believe that just being the boss means you're a bad person, then you will never be able to be your own boss, and you will never be able to work for anyone else. And so you can say, so I do not want you to be unhappy, so I'm going to give you a choice. You can either learn how you can change your belief, or you can leave. Because I know I am a good person, and I am not going to let you make me become what you believe I am. So I am going to love you and be a good boss by letting you go so that you can be happy wherever it is you prefer to be happy. Because obviously you will never be happy working for someone or working for yourself. So you must go and find where you're going to be happy unless you change your mind about your definition of what a boss is. Since I am a good boss, I believe in whole systems management. Everything must work together, and it must be fun, it must be creative, it must be good for all the people doing it. I want you to be happy. That is what is most important to me. I want you to be happy. So go where you will be happy, or find out how to be happy if you stay. Now, this person, when you say this to them, may think you're an even meaner boss. But that's their fear and their issue that they need to resolve. It's their belief and their definition, not yours. But you know you are a good boss because what you have done is give them truly the freedom to choose. The freedom to be their true self. But that doesn't mean that you have to keep them on your staff. So give them an opportunity to understand what their definitions and beliefs are all about, and give them a chance to change them. But if they choose not to change them, let them go. Does this make some sense to you?
Thank you
very much. Next question. And to you, good day. Did you get very excited there for a moment?
Yes, it's exciting.
All right. Thank you. What is your question?
Having listened to your talk, I was able to think about many things about myself. So first of all, thank you for that.
Thank you for applying the information to yourself so readily and making changes.
Question, or what I am thinking about this, confused about this. This is what I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
What I'm doing now is doing oil painting. This is something I've been wanting to do since I was a child.
Oil painting. All right. Is it fun?
Very fun.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
And because where I live is a very small space, so I rented a studio, and I also hired a teacher, and several of us got together and we've been painting.
All right, and is all of that exciting as well? All right, thank you. Continue.
And since spring, we found out that what each member wanted was somewhat different in nature, and the group sort of split up.
All right, and so?
And I wanted to, because several people left the group, I needed to get more people, and I talked to people, but they haven't joined our group yet.
Oh, well, all right, but are you absolutely sure you need to get more people?
We decided to run the group with the people who are left, and it was actually fun.
Well, then, why do you need more people?
And what I've been wanting to do is to draw a figure, so I needed to have money to hire models, for example.
Are you sure? Are you sure you need money for that?
That's something that I've been thinking about also.
Did you ever ask anyone to simply volunteer to be a model? Did you explore all possible avenues creatively of how you could get what you need instead of just assuming that you could only get it through one possible way?
Not enough, I think.
Oh, I thought you said you were an artist. Artists do not know any limitations. They do not stop with just one way. They look at all possible ways to create something. Maybe you just forgot for a little minute that you were an artist.
Yes.
All right, but do you remember now that you are an artist? Does your imagination now allow you to come up with more ways that you could attract what you need without assuming it can only be one way?
Yes.
All right. Does this help you? Does this answer your question? Does this satisfy what you are doing?
What I wanted to ask you is a little bit different from what we've been talking about.
No, all right.
What I'm thinking about is, having tried both avenues, actually each avenue was more or less comfortable for me. So what I'm wondering is, should I get together with a larger group or stay as we are in a small group? That's what I'm wondering about.
I thought we answered that question. What excites you the most? The idea of following your excitement is, what excites you the most that you have the greatest capability of doing something about? If two paths are equally exciting, then it doesn't really matter which one you choose. Do the one that is easiest to take some action on. If that then, after you take the action, turns out to be the path that is not the most exciting, you'll find out right away, and then you can act on the other path. If both choices are equal, choose either. It will show you which way to go, and if you have made the choice that is most representative of your true self. Did that address your question, or were you asking something different?
One thing is, although I have fun when I'm painting on my own, I feel that sometimes if there is people with whom I can share this, maybe that is even better.
It is not better, it is just different. Sometimes you will find that your highest excitement is painting on your own. Sometimes you will find that your highest excitement is painting with other people. When you decide which one at any given moment is your highest excitement, do that thing. Or do both. You have no limitations. You can paint by yourself sometimes. You can paint with other people sometimes. You can do anything you want. Isn't it the most exciting thing of all to know that you have the freedom to choose to do any or all of these things?
Yes.
Well then see, all those choices are contained within your greater excitement of being able to do all these different things. You don't have to split it up into, well, should I just do this or should I just do that? They can all be part of the greater excitement of being able to do them all. Have I painted you a clear picture? Yes? No?
Yes.
Then we will thank you very much. At this time, we will extend to each and every one of you the following idea. We deeply thank you, each individually and all of you together collectively, for allowing us to experience you in this way at this time. Even though reality is somewhat different for us, we also are still always learning something new. We have learned that there is never an end to learning, never an end to growth. Creation is infinite, and we thank you from deep within our hearts for allowing us to experience another facet of creation through you.
Why did you finish now? Are there any more questions? Because I was told from voice people that there will be more questions. Why do you have to finish now?
Bashar decides when it's appropriate.
You're not Bashar. What are you doing? Don't cheat us.
I didn't stop at Bashar's stop.
Because we spent lots of money, expensive money,
But I
coming
didn't
here.
stop at Bashar's stop. I don't control when he makes the connection or when he leaves. So if he felt that this was the appropriate time,
Because before you started to channel, you don't really know when you will, when Bashar will come. you, Daryl, doesn't know. That's what you
少な
said
くとも以前バシャール
before.
のチャネリングで
At
来たエ
least
ネルギーとは違うよ今日は。
the energy that you brought today is different from what Bashar brought before. I assume he's talking about the last time you were here in Japan.
Well, I don't understand what he means by different.
It's something that I cannot describe in words because Bashar is like Buddha and Christ. The Bashar is existence, a being of light.
Yes, so I don't understand. So what is his
If
point?
Bashar comes, when Bashar comes, usually there is enormous amount of energy that comes together with the word. But I did not feel that this time
Well, I
with
have
you
no way
here.
to explain that.
チャネリングっていう
So
のは、
what doesn't make sense is what I want to ask you, Daryl, is
ラジオの
according
チ
to
ューニン
you
グと似て
channel,
るというふうに言いましたよ最初。
you said that channeling is like tuning with
バシャールに入る前です。
TV or radio. That's what you said before you became Bashar, during the introduction.
バシャールの時に
After Bashar came, and when Bashar was asked about the question
ダニエルが
about
今日最初に
channeling,
言ったって
Bashar
テレ
said,
ビのようなものだということをそのまま言い
rather
ま
than
した。
quoting Daryl, saying that Daryl said that this communication is like telephone or the radio or television, Bashar said that this communication or transmission is like the telephone or television. So what I feel that there is no distinction between Daryl and Bashar.
Yes, but when I was explaining what the channeling was like, I was using words that Bashar had explained before. Because I feel that Bashar explained it very well before, so I have no way to improve on his explanation, so I just use his explanation when I'm explaining it.
Because that is hearsay, because Daryl was the one who spoke first.
Okay, but does he understand what I'm saying? This is not the first time that Bashar has used that definition. So Bashar has used that definition before. So I felt it was... Can he wait a minute? So I feel that when I need to explain up front for new people, it's best for me just to use the definition that Bashar has used before. So if he used...
That I know
if he
that
used...
because the Bashar channeling was supposed to finish in 92 and you
No.
were supposed to be concentrating on your business.
And I am. I am. There's a lot of misunderstanding about how my channeling is. We didn't hear what she said.
For time being, everybody was feeling very comfortable to welcome this ending. But this is something that maybe we can talk about on a personal level afterwards.
Well, I'm beginning to realize that maybe there is a purpose. Wait, tell her to hold on. Tell her to hold on.
It's not about cheating or being
Yeah,
cheated.
tell her to hold on. Sumimasen. Tell her to hold on quickly. Stop. Hold on. With all the stuff that is being discussed right now, I'm beginning to realize exactly why Bashar left early, because obviously he realized that these issues exist and that they need to be discussed with me. So look at all the emotion that has come up by him doing that. So by him leaving early, he has proved that there's all these feelings and emotions within people that needs to be discussed. I have learned that Bashar knows what he... I have learned... One moment. I've learned that... One moment, please.
の方がなぜ質問が続くという前提で始めたんですか？
Then in that case, why did staff say that we will have more questions and answers after the break?
Because they
it was a
don't know
given.
what Bashar's got planned. Bashar is the ultimate decider of how this energy flow goes. And he's willing to talk for a certain amount of time, but he's not bound by a particular clock. Now, they set up the whole thing, I understand that, but if Bashar felt that it was important for him to go at this time, I have to trust that as the teacher, he knows what he's doing.
Then you should have given us that supposition to begin with.
They
or
have no way
the
of knowing.
But the first half of the session finished according to the plan, more or less according to the plan. But because people who were picked beforehand, and I was not picked, and what I wanted to ask you, if I had opportunity to be picked, what I really wanted to ask was, Bashar, are you for real? But I was never really had the opportunity to be picked.
Well, how's he going to answer something like that anyway? How is Bashar going to... Stop. Tell him to stop for a moment. How is Bashar going to prove that he's real if he says he's real? That's not proof. And this is not about proving that Bashar is real. This is about information to help people change their lives. What I find very interesting about this is that, again, Bashar as a teacher knows what he's doing, and by leaving early, it's very interesting that it caused these people to realize how much anger they have in them about the idea of being cheated, and maybe that's something that Bashar wants them to look at.
To ask you simply, do you feel that Bashar has... Do you feel that Bashar has descended upon you? A very simple question.
I don't know what that means.
It's a literal translation, by the way. Come upon you.
What does he mean by that?
I feel that as an organizer, we would like to take 5 minutes break because if there are any complaints or questions, could you come and talk to the voice staff during the 5 minutes break? And I want to hear what everybody is saying, if those of you who have complained. Then through voice staff, we can talk to Daryl.
All right, but I'd like to address what he's saying. So what did he mean, do I feel that Bashar has descended upon? I don't quite understand the phrase.
Before you said, Daryl, that sometimes the other entity would descend upon channeler, and you mentioned that you can make a difference or make discernment between good energy and bad energy. So it feels strange to me that you cannot tell the difference.
Oh, is he asking me if I think that was Bashar?
That's right, yeah.
Of course, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's fine then. That's what I wanted to ask you.
I would know if it was different.
Sorry for interrupting you, but that's what I wanted to ask.
I would know if it was different. Now, maybe if you would like to, I don't have a problem using up the rest of the time if people have questions for me. Maybe you have questions about channeling or something like that, and maybe Bashar knew there was some important questions maybe that I need to answer that are not the kind of questions you would ask him, but maybe I can answer some of the things that you would ask me. So maybe we can use up the rest of the time, and I'd be happy to talk to you. Yeah, I have to always trust Bashar's timing. He's never been wrong when he's done his decision about when he comes and goes. He's never been wrong. There's always a purpose to it. So maybe today the purpose is that I get to interact with some of you as well. I don't know. That's up to you. Part of my whole process of having channeled for 20 years is to also learn to become more and more and more like Bashar. So every time I get an opportunity to interact with people directly this way, it gives me an opportunity to allow my own energy to become more like his. So maybe he stopped also a little early to give me more of an opportunity to do that and to have a different kind of interaction. It's difficult to know sometimes what his purposes are or how he sees things and how he sees our world and what he thinks is important for it to happen. But the only thing I can do is trust the way it happens because it's always had a purpose and it's never been wrong before. So if anyone has any type of questions that I would be able to answer, I'll be happy to answer.
I think somebody just now mentioned that in 1998 you reached a particular contract saying that unless there is a special occasion you will not do channeling anymore. So according to that, does that mean this is a particular occasion that you were talking about?
Yeah, many people have misinterpreted what I said about that. That happens here, it happens in the United States, it happens all over the place. So I will make an official statement as to what I actually said. My original agreement with Bashar was that I agreed to channel for 9 years. After that, Bashar said it's up to me as to when I decide if I want to do more channelings, but he will always be there for me to do more channelings if I decide I want to do so. Now, there have been 2 times that I have done fewer channelings because I am focused on different business projects, but I have never, ever said I was going to stop completely. I have never said that. At this point, what I do is I let people ask me if it would be good for me to come and do a channeling, and if I get a feeling from what I'm doing in my life and from Bashar that it would be a good time, then I go ahead and do it. But it just doesn't happen that often right now. But people have misunderstood that I said I was stopping. That's not true.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I asked you a question to Bashar just now. I have no anxiety or concern regarding Bashar because, first of all, I think that unless there is trust among Bashar and Channeler and myself, this will not happen. So basically, there must be a trust in order for this to happen. So I think I have always felt that as to the timing of when to begin and when to finish, Bashar would decide. And I know that Daryl would not intentionally interfere with that. So, in a way, what we're doing cannot be fully explained. It's like a dream, in a way. But this is something that we've been striving to realize in our own life. So, basically, trust is there. It's needed. And tomorrow, I'll be coming here tomorrow as well. But I will have the same attitude.
Tell him thank you. And Bashar always leaves it up to me to decide when to start, but I never decide when to end. It's always up to him when he ends. Any other questions? Yeah.
Bashar, 15 years ago, at about 2 a.m., I saw the open channeling session on television of Bashar, and the next day I ran to the bookshop and I bought the Bashar book. I was surprised and I gained confidence because I felt that what was happening in that television was what was happening to me as well. And I have come here actually to say thank you. 4 years ago I got married and I live in a Nerima ward inside Tokyo. This is something that I became aware of myself. I run my own shop at my house. There are many clients who come to this place, and I've been, by the way, raising flowers in that place for the past 20 years, so I'm surrounded by those flowers. With people who have serious problems or issues, I've been recommending this book. And actually, I've been giving, and actually what I've been doing, to be frank with you, I've been giving away Bashar's book, but they are fairly expensive. So what I've been doing now is to go to the second-hand bookstores where I can find Bashar's books. So I would buy them and pass them on to my... It's not a question, because there was a person like that who just went on sharing. I've been listening to the share, and I'm just happy right now. So I wanted to share that. I want to remind everybody to trust without doubting. That's what I wanted to share. When people say those things, it makes me smile. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's
also that we have to also trust that everything that happens is perfect too. It doesn't matter what anyone says. Everyone has a right to say what they need to say, and everything that happens is part of the whole thing. So don't be sad. Any other questions for me?
I think you must have done channeling session after the September 11th incident in America, perhaps?
I did one in October.
That's the one. I think in the early part of the session in the video, Bashar was saying that he predicted or prophesied, I don't know the exact word Bashar used, but about the September 11th incident. And what I thought was, perhaps because he has sensed that, maybe he has taken a break from this, and what Bashar was saying made sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't taken a break. I mean, what he did say originally was that, but he said it was important maybe to wait to talk to us until after that happened, because it would cause obviously a very big change in the world. Yeah, I think his original prediction was something like there was a 90% chance that there would be a terrorist act in New York sometime between 2000 and 2002 or something like that. I think
1997.
Between 1997 and 2001, sometime in that span.
Maybe having listened to Bashar's channeling. Actually, what I wanted to say was, having listened to the post-9 September 11th channeling that you did in October, your path makes sense. Although some of the people who were sitting in that section seem to have thought that you were quitting channeling altogether.
No, many people have thought that, but that's just a misunderstanding. If I'm quitting channeling, I will get up and say, I am never going to channel again. If you don't hear that come out of my mouth, I'm not stopping.
My name is Hiromi Ueda. This is the first time for me to attend this kind of seminar.
Thank you for coming.
Despite the fact that there are many different kinds of people in this world, why did Bashar choose a particular individual, Daryl Anka?
Why me? This is a complicated answer, but we made an agreement to do this probably in between lives with each other. But Bashar is also my future self. And this, me, is the one past life he's had on our planet so that he would have a life where he could understand what being on earth was all about. So this is a little bit of an oversimplification, but what he's basically doing is he's speaking to you from the future through his past self. Does that make sense? That's why.
Then it could have been me, for example. It doesn't have to be Mr. Darulanka, but somehow it had to be you.
Well, I'm his past self. You have your own future self. That's a different being. So maybe your future self could come through you, but my future self came through me. Now, sometimes Bashar has come through other people, but that was by special arrangement. But the reason that he started with me is because we're the same soul, but in two different lives. Does that help answer the question more fully?
I myself remembered my own past life, and that's why I wanted to ask you as a reference.
I mean, how does she know that she's not coming through her own past life? Maybe when she's asleep in dreams, she could be channeling through her past life. So then you would be like Bashar to your past life, because you're the future person. But that, that time and space thing gets kind of all jumbled up. It's very, can be very complicated. You're welcome. Over there, and then we... Okay, well, we'll go with him. He's up there. He's after the thing, and then we'll go with that woman.
Thank you so much for doing the channeling just now. And thank you for the very meaningful information. It was very helpful to me.
Thank you.
And because of the recent incident, I'm a little bit scared.
What incident?
The gentleman's question.
Oh, scared about what?
I feel that if I was physically sitting, I was literally sitting close to the gentleman who asked you those questions. What I wanted really was to talk to him and saying that perhaps it is more appropriate for this person to talk in a more gentle manner, perhaps. But I was not able to do that. I was afraid that if I perhaps touched this person or approached that person, I might get hit or something. That's why. And as a result, he left according to his own, on his own, and I am here. I haven't really had the chance to talk to him.
Okay.
Since I'm feeling fear, is there any appropriate way to deal with fear?
Well, certainly talking about it's a good idea, admitting that you had it. But I think maybe also if you're sensitive, you might just simply have been picking up on his fear. So maybe it's not yours.
You mentioned that I may have picked up this gentleman's fear myself.
Yeah.
My question is, under such a circumstance like this one, I often get afraid and I cannot have courage. So what it is, can you give us some advice as to what can I do under those circumstances?
What would he rather do in that circumstance? How would he like to behave?
When I become afraid, I want to run away and my emotions and my thoughts stop.
No, but what I mean is, in thinking about it now, what would he have preferred to be able to do? Let me ask you the question. What does he think Bashar would have done if the person had been angry with Bashar?
Probably Bashar would have talked to him, the person.
But in what way?
In a calm way, calm manner.
In a loving way.
And he will coach the person so that this gentleman will know that this form of expression is not appropriate.
But even though you have to acknowledge that it's okay for him to express it, you can still, if you approach him in a loving way, then he can, maybe get in touch with what it is that he was feeling fear about, and maybe that way would help him. And it would also help you, because you would just be feeling the love. See, I think the whole idea, in fact, actually, we were having this discussion the other day of how to use the dark side in a positive way. And by that person having expressed his fear here, he's given us an opportunity to actually discuss this issue. So the idea, I think, is to look for ways to use negative energy in positive ways. And then you can acknowledge that even a person being negative has done us a service. And when you think about it that way, does it feel better to you?
Yes, it feels much easier.
You're welcome. Hello.
There's one thing I wanted to ask you about ascension.
Well, that may be a question for Bashar, but if I know anything, I'll try my best.
About this particular topic about ascension, you, Daryl, how have you received, what kind of information have you received from Bashar about this topic of ascension?
Okay, we need to maybe make a little clarification, because I've heard the word ascension mean many different things. Can she be more specific about exactly what kind of ascension she's talking about?
Ascension, there is a person called Gary Bono who's been coming here through voice. And I read about the notion of ascension through his books. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Okay, well, I mean, in general, ascension is basically just a raising of your energy level, raising of your vibration. That's why Bashar feels that following your excitement, as he talks about a lot, is very important, because excitement is a very high energy, and if you follow your excitement, then your energy rises to match it, and in a sense, that's the beginning of the form of ascension. I would imagine that if you keep doing that, and keep raising your energy higher and higher, that then the physical and the non-physical energies, would begin to blend, and it would cause, a great alignment and purification within you. So I would assume that the people that are very adept at doing that are the kind of people that we call ascended masters, like Buddha, like Jesus, and so forth. But then perhaps you can keep ascending even into the non-physical reality. Does that seem like that's going in the direction that you're talking about?
Yes. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. There was someone down here that had a question. Did you have a question?
I am glad to have the opportunity to meet you, Daryl, today. Since 5 years ago, since I met Bashar, I was able to do whatever I want to do, and actually I've been doing the things that I've been wanting to do, and I have been enjoying myself. But the people outside of me, they would say that what you're doing is just playing.
Yeah, well.
Now, I used to get really depressed because when I looked at what I was doing, I felt that what I was doing was really fragmented. And my notion of being professional is to integrate those things. Mm-hmm. So I used to have the experience of being depressed, but now, what I do is now I do nutrition counseling, I do color coordinator, and I'm also interior designer. And when I realized that what I'm doing is not fragmented at all, and it is okay to be the way I am, and when I reached that awareness, about 2 months ago, I encountered Saint Square. It's a company that creates cooperative buildings, architectures. And I experienced oneness, unity there for the first time. I reached that point.
Thank you.
So in my early 20s, I had difficulty because just as the lady shared before, I had difficulty with my own feminine side, my femininity, of being a woman. At that time, the way I expressed that energy was to get on a motorbike and ride my motorbike. That's how I expressed it.
Well, that's good too. It's creative.
When I became a nutritionist at the hospital, I had lots of stress. I had problem with my autonomic nervous system.
Did you have that problem?
Not at all, no. So I am grateful that after 20 years I am able to be here now.
Well, thank you very much for sharing.
About channeling, when I am counseling people, when I'm seeing my clients, sometimes word would pop up or phrase would pop up, and I feel that perhaps I'm doing channeling of my own.
It's a type of channeling, sure. Channeling is any time you allow inspiration and creativity to come through unblocked. That's why I was saying in the beginning, channeling doesn't have to be with another entity, and we all have the ability to channel, and all of us do channel from time to time. When we just do what we love to do, it's a form of channeling state. And now all of you have helped channel us to 6 o'clock. Thank you for coming.
Could you finish at 6:10?
Oh,
10 more minutes. We have 10 more minutes.
Voice says we have 10 more minutes.
Because we lost some time in that incident. Perhaps one more person with question.
You. Yes, you.
Hello to you.
Hello.
This is the first time I see you.
Oh, thank you for coming.
I read all of Bashar's books, and I was very moved by that. I'm sure you have been leading your life according to the information that you've been receiving from Bashar in many aspects of your life.
Say that one more time.
I'm sure you've been leading your life by incorporating what Bashar has conveyed to you, the information.
As best as I can. I mean, after all, I'm human too.
I've been thinking about my own life as well. And I want to lead as a creative life as I possibly can for myself. What I want to ask you, Daryl, is how I'm sure you have been incorporating the ideas that's been sent from Bashar as much as possible. And are you actually leading, as Bashar says, effortless life where you can realize your own dream and to be in the flow?
Yeah, it's getting better and better all the time, closer and closer to what Bashar is talking about all the time. And I feel that, in the past few years, now I don't really have, any kind of serious problems anymore. Things seem much more easy to understand and to make changes in the way that I would like to. So it's been a very, very great gift for me when I feel his energy come through, because it really helps me change my life too. Yeah.
Often when we try to change our lives and try to attempt new things, many things, for example, fear would come up. Mm-hmm. That's certainly the case with me, for example. Mm-hmm. So it's okay for us to think that, as Bashar says, it's worthy to choose, for example, find out what excites us and live according to that.
Absolutely. And I can say that, I've been doing this for 20 years. Every single time someone finally really puts all of Bashar's techniques and information to work the way he suggests, they always come back to me and say, I'm so amazed, it always works, the techniques do work and help make changes. So I always get people saying that if you just follow what he says, it will work and it will help make changes more easy. And I've found, just for myself and from other people, that the only thing that slows us down is just resistance to being our natural self because of something that we've been taught to believe that isn't necessarily true for us. Yeah, I think, Bashar's talked about, we have to remember that, taking that step is not really a risk, because there's no empty space in creation. We will always land on something that will always get us to the next place. There's always another step. It never turns out, that there's nothing. There's always something that takes us to another place. And once we learn to trust that, we can step faster and faster and faster.
So if that is the case, we shouldn't be afraid of failure, that it's a good thing to do, continue to do what gives us joy, what makes us happy.
Absolutely, and to Bashar, there's no such thing as failure anyway. Something that you find out that's not what you want helps you more clearly understand what you do want. It's very, very powerful to try something and see that, maybe it doesn't work, because then you can say with absolute certainty, that is not my excitement. And that makes your life more clear. So you can go in the direction of what does excite you.
When you receive a direct advice from Bashar, how do you receive it?
He gives me information when he's doing the channeling to you. I get other kinds of information or energy directly in a sort of a telepathic way or an energy way, because I don't really need to hear what he's saying to you, because that's like a secondary level translation. I have, in a way, my own conversation with him, and I get what I need during the channeling. And in some ways, what I get is even maybe more powerful than just the words, because I get to feel like what he feels like. I get to feel how he feels. So the more often I remember what it feels like to be like one of Bashar's people, the more often I can become that myself, because I can remember how that feels, and I can do that feeling. I can create that feeling for myself and use that in my life. Thank you all very much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And the fact that you're here today is what allows me to do this, and I get a lot out of it too. So I'd like to thank you very much. And please thank our wonderful interpreter, and please thank Voice Company for putting on such a wonderful event.